Obviously, a nice couple of days after that Tuesday result, must be very pleased with the response from the players, particularly at half-time after the troubles, even with the goal in the first half.
Yeah, it's a different type of performance to the others within this spell, and the players carried out the instructions at half-time brilliantly. So it was a positive night. Some big performances from some players that needed some minutes and game time, which is great and what you want, and gives us some tough decisions going into Port Vale. But a really pleasing couple of hours work on Tuesday night.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about injuries in a second, but you then look for the players who we would call, I know you wouldn't, fringe players, the players who haven't featured much, the likes of Dylan and Jack, who we've just spoken to. And they're two great examples of players who've had that opportunity and have tried to take it.
Yeah, and you have to prepare yourself for those opportunities when you find yourself in that position. It's tough. It's not the position footballers want to be in, where they're not getting what they want and the opportunities they desire. But they've trained brilliantly. The lads who've been on the edge of things in the last few weeks conducted themselves brilliantly, and we've carried on with conversations with them about being prepared mentally, physically, and they've done that, and then it gives the lads the chance to perform. So I was delighted for everybody on Tuesday, but definitely the individuals that have been waiting for their chance.
And would they be people you'd perhaps know, certainly with Dylan, a bit better? Because when Mark was here and the management structure was such, I imagine as first team coach that perhaps some of the players who aren't getting the game time, perhaps you spend a bit more time with?
Yeah, you tend to in certain parts of the week, and you've got a good relationship with every single player. Different characters, different personalities, but really rewarding to see players like Dylan who've put lots of extra work in and to get himself ready, prepared, performed and tried really hard in a B team game we had a couple of weeks ago, and deserves his opportunity, taking his opportunity, and gives us a nice headache for Saturday.
Yeah, and I get the sense from the players there was a real pleasure in his performance, particularly. I know when we spoke to Jack Burrows after the game on Tuesday, he particularly pinpointed that and said, it's just nice to see a player make the most of all their hard work.
Yeah, and obviously others on the night were in a similar place. But Dylan's he's a brilliant kid. He's got a smile on his face every second that you're around him. Loves it, loving his time in Lincoln. So a great night for him and the group.
Injuries, I kind of pause when we talk about this. Have you ever known in one particular part of the team? I can remember teams where there have been lots of injuries, but they've generally been on all departments of the team. It's almost like everything is in your attacking area. Yeah,
it's really unfortunate. But as players who were regulars, been regulars, as they're not available, others step up, and that's been the best bit of work for me is the context in the last few weeks. It's a very important part of your team and your squad, and the numbers have been low at that end of the pitch, but we've managed to get some points and put in some great performances, and the group have put themselves in a brilliant situation going into this game on Saturday, where the outcome is very exciting. The process of it and the performance is going to be very difficult and tough, as it always is in this division, but with numbers low at that end of the pitch, it's a great return and been a really pleasing few weeks. I've not known anything quite like it, to be honest, in one area. But there's not much you can do at times. You just got to grit your teeth, find another plan, another idea. Other players have stepped up to that line of the pitch and done well. Players like Alistair, Hakeeb out of position, Lasse Sorensen, and showed their unselfish traits and nature to just go and try their best in that position, and they've flourished at times.
So just very quickly to spin through, Ben and Rico I know a long way off, so I won't ask you specifically about them, but Tyler getting a bit closer but still a couple of weeks away?
Yeah, I saw him striking some footballs today. He's doing some work with Tom Hallis, who's our Sergeant Major when it comes to return to training. He's working Tyler really hard. Tyler's in a good place, progressing nicely. And then from the other unavailable players from Tuesday, we hopefully got two of those available for Saturday, which is really pleasing. Will bolster us.
And also, what's the situation with Sean? He had the injury. You were hopeful he was going to be closer.
Yeah, it's been some good news. So we're hoping Sean's going to be available and involved on Saturday.
Okay, you play your cards close to your chest. I'll let you do that. What about Port Vale? To an outside observer, you'd look at their form and say they've done very well in certainly one of the cup competitions, haven't they? But their league form has been disappointing of late for them.
They've not been on a great run in the league, but they're in the last 8 in the Carabao and done brilliantly. Their staff got a lot of respect for John Schofield, got to know him in recent times, and I like how they've gone about it this year, the way they're trying to play. Got some talented players, and they've had a few injuries themselves. Like every game in this league, it's going to be tough, really difficult, hard to break them down. They'll have threats, and they've got some talented players in certain areas. But we've worked very hard as a group, and the group been fantastic to earn this opportunity where we can get into a really exciting part of the league table. I think the players are very excited for this. I think it's time for a big LNER performance from everybody. The players have they're the fortunate ones that get to affect it at 3 o'clock. But the supporters, we're asking for that demand for hard work, but support through the tough times in this fixture. Those tough moments, we need the backing, which they always give. And I think if we can really, every staff member, every player from opposition, they're envious of our home atmosphere and home crowd, and we've got to give the supporters something to get right behind, make it a really tough place for Port Vale to come. A big LNER performance can give this group a big reward, which is extremely exciting, and against the odds a little bit in recent weeks with players that have been unavailable and circumstance. So it's an exciting game, one that everybody's starting to prepare well for this morning, and we'll see how it looks at 5 o'clock.